This is Olm by Zoologist. There were only 140 bottles of this fragrance made, and it's inspired by a blind salamander that lives in a cave. Because it was so rare, you had to blind buy it to get it. Pretty ingenious marketing.
I don't need it. I need it!
Today we're reviewing Olm by Zoologist. I'm going to let you know what I think about it. I'm going to tell you all about this elusive fragrance. And to say thank you for getting to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, this is my 2 cents. My name is Sean. Welcome back to the channel if you've already seen our videos, and if you're new, then welcome. Before we get started, I just want to say if you like fast-paced fragrance reviews and you're not already subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. The algorithm really likes it when you do that. All right, let's get started with Olm. Before we get into the fragrance itself, I do want to say we've just recently hit 1,000 subscribers, and I want to say thank you to all of you that think I have something somewhat important to say that you decided to stick along with me on this journey. It really means the world to me. So as a thank you, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. I'm going to be giving away a 10 ml version of Olm officially from Zoologist, never used before. The instructions to join the giveaway are hidden somewhere in this video. I'm keeping you in the dark because if the Olm has to work for it, you should too. So if you don't know anything about Zoologist, really quickly, it's a Canadian-based company founded by Victor Wong, and their shtick is that they come up with all of these fragrances based on animals. Not the smell of the animal, but rather the environment that the animal lives in, or a specific note that you think of when you think of that specific type of animal. This is their rarest fragrance yet. It was released earlier this year in 2025 to the tune of 140 bottles. I just happened to be on Instagram at the time that they announced it, and I clicked add to cart. They didn't up the price on this because of the exclusivity, but it was limited to only 140 full-size bottles. I was lucky enough to get myself a bottle, and I also got 2 10 ml sizes of it as well. But once the 140 bottles were gone, they were gone. This is one of those things that if my apartment were burning, I'd probably grab this before I grab my passport. So this, as I said, is based on the Olm, which is a small salamander that is blind. It lives in freezing cold, pitch black conditions in water inside caves. So when this fragrance was dropped, it sold out in under an hour. There was no opportunity to smell it. There was no opportunity to sample it. You had to blind buy it. So you were blind buying a fragrance for a blind animal. That's pretty ingenious. So for today's review, we're going to be testing this 10 ml sample of it rather than the full-size bottle. I have not sprayed out of the bottle because for me this was more of a collector's piece rather than actually using the fragrance. I have been using this 10 ml. I have a second one for the giveaway, but I want to keep this one intact. I also have the box because I'd kind of like to get it autographed by Victor Wong. Victor, I'm coming for you at Scent Explorer. All right, so let's look at the notes as they're listed by Zoologist. On each of the boxes, Zoologist lets you know exactly what the notes are for the fragrance. So if you think about the Olm and the environment that it lives in, you're going to expect a fragrance that's dark, it's going to be dank, it's going to be musty, it's going to be a little bit aquatic, and that's pretty much exactly what you're getting. But let's look at the notes as they're listed directly on the box from Zoologist. In the top, you've got black currant bud, wet stone accord, cave air, and humid accord. What'd I tell you? In the heart notes, you've got mosses and lichens, you've got iris root, you've got aldehydes that's sort of going to give it a cold metallic sort of feel. And in the base, you've got mineral notes, musk, salt facets, and ambergris. A little bit more about the Olm. This is a tiny little guy. This little salamander, as I said, lives in complete darkness. It lives in a cave. It can actually survive 10 years without food. Don't say you didn't learn anything on the My 2 Cents program. And when you think of the notes, you really can see how it is going to mirror exactly this environment that the Olm lives in. You've got your wet stones, you've got your mineral notes, you've got some aquatic notes, you've got the aldehydes for that metallic sort of note, you've got mosses, you've got lichens, you've got this inky black currant. But let's go ahead and see how it smells on the skin. So this is the 10 ml size of Olm. I said we're cheating today. We're using the sample instead of the real bottle. Yeah, in the opening, you've got cold, damp, mineralistic. You've got a little bit of a green bite to it. You've got a little bit of a fruity tone to it. That's got to be the black currant at the top notes. This smells like the moment you just step into a cold, damp cave and you breathe out and your breath sort of fogs. It just really has a cold dankness to it. The longer you wear it, then the moss sort of feels like it's kicking in and the lichens. So you've got sort of a petrichor sort of feeling, but this is a petrichor. Think more of a really deep in the forest, damp night sort of feel. You slept there, you woke up, there was dew all over everything. That's what the mosses and the lichens are giving me. It's giving me a really dank greenness to it. This is a very quiet scent. This is not loud. However, it does have projection. I'll get into that a little bit later, but it's definitely sort of a somber, quiet sort of sound, like you are living in pitch blackness. There's nothing around you. The sound has been somehow swallowed by everything else, and your senses are really being deprived. In the dry down, that musk, it really gives it a soft warmth, sort of a glow. It's almost like once you get down to the musk level in the dry down of this fragrance, it's almost like your body is sort of warming the cave from below, from within. If I had to compare this to other fragrances, this is not as petrichor as something like Coven by Andrea Mack. This isn't like Veride by Orto Parisi. I would probably put this very close to Bat by Zoologist. So if you know Bat by Zoologist and you can think of any other sort of aquatic sort of scent, doesn't have to be by Zoologist, and it's like the two of them had a baby, then that's sort of this fragrance. This fragrance is super interesting. It's one of the best ones, I think, in the lineup, or at least one of the best ones that I have in my collection from Zoologist. I find myself wearing Olm frequently. It's a great fragrance when you want to wear something, but you don't want to stick out too loud, but you want people to continuously smell you and not know what they're smelling, and lean in just long enough to say, I know you smell amazing, I'm just not sure what that is. It's sort of a blend of mystery, intelligence, and weirdness all at the same time, but really in a good way. And when I say aquatic to this, I don't mean something like Aqua Woods by Mancera or something very literal like Polo Blue. So if you think aquatic means Polo Blue, this is not going to be a good aquatic fragrance for you. The aquatic note is mixed there with a really strong mineral note. There's a real dankness to this. There's a real cave feel to this, and that's why I really think it smells like bat. It smells like bat with an aquatic note, if that makes sense. So if you like the House of Zoologist and you're familiar with their other fragrances, I would say that this, in addition to bat, I would say if you like squid and you like the weirdness of squid and the uniqueness of squid, I don't even know if that's a word, and if you want something that's going to make people guess like Tyrannosaurus Rex, this is a good fragrance for you. This is for someone who's looking to create depth and atmosphere, not necessarily looking for prettiness. But it's still a very pleasant fragrance. I don't want you to be misled and think that this is something loud, boisterous, over the top. This is great if you're one of those people that likes a scent that's going to make people lean in and not step back because they're interested in what you're wearing. It's also a great fragrance for YouTubers who want to spend $300 to blind buy something simply because it was named after a blind animal. All right, if you've stayed with me this far, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is the giveaway section. So let me tell you how you can get your hands on this 10 ml, well, not this one, it's another one. But let me tell you how you can get your hands on a 10 ml version of Olm by Zoologist. All you got to do is like this video and comment below. Let me know what your favorite Zoologist fragrance is and tell me why you like it. We'll get the conversation going. That's it. That's how simple it is. And if you want to increase your odds, make sure you're following this account so that you don't miss the winner announcement, which we're going to do in about a week or two. The winner will be chosen at random. I will be paying the shipping costs, and I will ship internationally depending on whether or not your country allows perfume shipments. All right, it's time for me to give you my 2 cents on Olm by Zoologist. So what's really good about this fragrance is that nothing really smells like it. Mocha by Wolf Brothers is the one fragrance that I can think of that smells sort of like this or sort of gives off the same vibe. Mocha is a lot stronger of a fragrance and it definitely has a much stronger projection. This one sits closer to your skin. This is a very dark, dank, cold fragrance. That said, it is completely wearable. So by Zoologist, I know both bat fragrances. I know the original and I know the newer one, which has more of a fruity note to it. The old one is what this reminds me of. It's very cold, very musty, very dank. Another thing of note in this is the mineral realism to this. It actually smells like you're in a cave. It smells like there's water dripping from stalactites. It smells like there's pooling up underneath. It smells like it's been sitting there years and years and years undisturbed. But the perfumer here, who is Spiros Drossopoulos, has done an amazing job to give it that cold, dank, cavey smell, but also make it very, very wearable. This is a fragrance that really tells a story. When you're wearing this, all of the notes combined really, really, really tell the journey of the Olm. So if you're wearing this around people and they ask you what you're wearing and you explain the House of Zoologist, you can explain the scenario for this animal almost perfectly and it matches the scent. A lot of the other ones are a little bit more experimental. They have notes that throw it off a little bit. I feel like the perfumer here hit this one right on the money. The opening of this is the coldest moment. It's pretty icy, but then it becomes extremely wearable. Like I said, once you get to the dry down, which is not that far after spraying it, it becomes very warm. It's like your skin warms it and gives it a little bit of warmth to that cave feel. Now, on the other hand, about this fragrance, at the opening there is a black currant note which has sort of a sharp sulfuric bite, and that's not going to be for everyone. It doesn't last the duration of the wear, and I don't want to say that this isn't linear because it's pretty linear, but for some people that may be a little strong at the beginning. It isn't for me. Additionally, for those people who are going to really love the wet cave realness to this fragrance, there are some that are going to think it's a little bit too literal and they're not going to like it for that reason. Also of note is that this doesn't really have a very, very strong projection, but it almost feels like that was done deliberate. The Olm is blind, it doesn't shout. Maybe this fragrance is meant to be quiet, just like the environment that the Olm lives in. Maybe that's a little bit of a reach, but for me, it feels like it was done on purpose. And the last thing that may be troubling about this fragrance, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the fact that you can't really get it. So for the entirety of 2025, this fragrance was discontinued after the 140 bottles were sent out. I think there are rumblings that it's coming back in 2025, but why wait? Why not just like the video, put a comment, and maybe you'll have a chance to have it next month? Is this a safe blind buy? I kind of feel like it is. You know what you're getting into when you buy this fragrance. You know you're looking for something dank and something dark and something cave-like and mysterious and something almost dusty, vintage with aquatic. You kind of know what you're getting into with this fragrance. So is it a safe blind buy? If that's your jam and that's the type of fragrance that you like, by all means. This is not a fragrance that wants to be pretty. It doesn't want to be seen. It wants to be felt. This definitely creates a mood. It feels like you've just lost the sunlight. It feels like the longer you wear it, the deeper into the cave you're getting. You're going to the places that sunlight no longer hits. For the Olm, it lives that deep in the cave and it has learned to adapt, not because it wanted to, but because it had to. When you put this fragrance on for the first time, you immediately feel the temperature drop, you can feel your senses heightened, sort of like the creature that it was named after. But underneath all of that, there's still something warm, there's still something human about it. This is definitely something that I'm excited to share with you, and I'd really like to know, whoever wins, what you think about the fragrance. Because if this channel has taught me anything, it's that all of us fragrance people are built differently. We chase the obscure, we honor the strange, and we're actually willing to buy a fragrance that's inspired by a blind amphibian. And that's just because that's who we are. All right, that was my 2 cents on Olm by Zoologist. Thanks again for watching. If you like this review, if you like Zoologist or you're curious about this, definitely leave me a comment. I have gotten back to all the comments and I like to respond even to the nasty ones. If you're interested in winning the giveaway, please go back in the video, please watch the whole thing and you'll find out how to enter the giveaway. Once again, thanks for watching. Again, if you have any questions on this, please leave me a comment. If you like this video, or if you like Olm, or if you feel bad for the Olm because it's blind, definitely leave me a thumbs up. I'll let him know that you like the video. Once again, thanks for watching. That was my 2 cents. My name is Sean, and I hope to see you next episode.